Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. I'm Kevin Coleman. I'm joined with John Kovac. We're also joined in studio by Fairfield Ludlow's own Josh Evans. Guys, how we doing? Josh, welcome to the studio, my man.
Doing good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, John, we had good lacrosse yesterday over in New Canaan. What are your thoughts?
You're seeing a big separation between the higher seeds and some of the lower seeds, and you're seeing the usual suspects kind of giving some indications that they're on a collision course once we get to the semis and the finals.
Now, Josh, I know it's a little bit of a sore subject. You're coming off a day after losing to New Canaan. Of course, Josh is a member of the lacrosse team at Fairfield Ludlow. Unfortunately, falling to New Canaan 17-3. Just quickly, being on that field yesterday at Dunning Field, going up against a Rams team like this, what were you experiencing? I know you're a long pole defender. What were you experiencing out there?
You know, especially with Dave Cravato at the faceoff X. You know, he's one of the best in the FCIC at the position. He just kept winning them, and it's really hard to possess the ball, especially against a kid like Cravato. So it's really hard to keep up with the high-paced New Canaan offense. Like, they have that two-headed monster of Shin and O'Connell in the midfield. They got Mac Dean in the attack. Especially hard to keep them off the score sheet when they have the ball so many times. So in such rapid succession.
Now, let's talk about halftime. We're going to cut to the highlights pretty soon, but talking to Coach Parisi coming out of the half, he was still pretty positive. He felt like you guys still had a chance in this game, and that's what I love about Coach Parisi is that he's always positive.
Very positive, always.
Just, you know, looking now, you're a senior, about to graduate, looking back at your career, playing for Coach Parisi, what has it been like?
I wouldn't rather play for anybody else. You know, he always had my back. He's had my teammates' back. Always there to pick us up, especially when we're playing like the big dogs like Darien, New Canaan. Like, you know, at the start of the game, it'll be a tough game. It'll be hard to stay in it, but he's always right on you, ready to go. Get ready for positive reinforcement, and he really keeps you going.
I was impressed that you scored late in the first and second quarters, and kind of felt, you know, we talk a lot, Frank and I, about a late goal, a late touchdown being a momentum builder, and I was kind of surprised you didn't carry more momentum from that. It was almost like New Canaan was on a mission yesterday, and all right, they scored. We're not going to let them have momentum.
It almost seemed like right as soon as we scored, it was just Cravato right back at the X, winning the possession for the Rams, and then right back for another long possession with O'Connell, Shin, moving it around. As you see O'Connell score a nice goal.
Yeah, I mean, look at O'Connell right there. Just a straight shot from the point, absolute laser beam going right by Carter Liebrock. And Carter, you know, this is a tough game for him, and you're going to see this shot. How about Owen Shin right here? How about this shot? As a defender, I mean, you get to see yourself right there.
Nothing you can do. Like,
what's going through your mind?
You're right on his hands. You can just create separation in the blink of an eye and just rip a shot like that, low corner, that kind of speed. There's almost nothing you can do. It's
all right,
stop.
That transition was nice. That tic-tac-toe. And I kind of thought if you did more of that, the long passes, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, that's what kind of we've been priding ourselves along all year, just being a good transition team. Like, it'll be hard to score against New Canaan 6-on-6, especially with Chase Strupp. They got a strong goalie. He's been getting better all year. But in transition, that's a place where we can kind of hold our own.
And you look back at your goal against New Canaan yesterday. Aiden Wyckoff, I thought, had a terrific season. You're going to see Alex Berg. Absolutely. That's the goal we were just talking about before. How big of momentum you felt that was for Alex Berg to score there?
Definitely. I mean, he's had a tough season, but he's definitely gotten better as the season's gone on. I mean, he got us to this game with his winner against Ward in the qualifying round. I think his confidence has skyrocketed since then, and we've all had his back all year.
And you saw that goal by Mac Dean there. Another shot. How about Luke Nolan here getting on the board? Nice shot there from the youngin. And New Canaan's going to continue and roll on to win 17-3. And unfortunately, you guys have to go home here. But New Canaan moves on. They're going to take on Fairfield Prep on Saturday. As you see here, both teams coming to your goalies. Let's talk about your goalie for a second, because we've had you guys on the HA Network quite a few times this spring. And Carter Liebrock has had a terrific season. He seems like he's that kind of guy that gets everyone together on your team, one of the big leaders, obviously a captain on this team, but he's come up save after save. You go back to that St. Joe's game where, unfortunately, you're on the losing end, but he made some terrific plays. Talk about your goalie this season, Carter.
I mean, the kid's been a star since freshman year. Like, we've all had his back. He's had our backs. He's somebody that all of us looked up to. Like, he's a real leader out on the field, a quarterback of the defense. He's always in our ears, letting us know where we are on the field, when we need to throw a check. Especially, like, when we give up a goal or get beat, he's the first one to pat us on the back, saying, like, hey, like, that one's not on you. Like, you're going to do better, fine. Just, get on to the next play. And I think it's something that we all believe in and we all trust in him. And it's been an honor playing with him for the last couple of years.
Carter's had a great career, and I know Coach Parisi is going to miss not only yourself, but a lot of these seniors who were on this roster, John. And looking back, Ludlow had a great season. They qualified for FCX and states.
Right, you made FCX, you made states. You can hold your heads high, and hope that you can build off of that. Hope that the underclassmen learned from you guys, watched you guys, picked up your work ethic, and that you can just continue the progress that you've made.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Aiden Wyckoff coming back next year.
That's a big thing to have.
Another starter since freshman year. He went all East this year. He's one of the best attackmen I've ever played with, and I think he'll be a big force coming next year.
Such a heads-up player.
Absolutely.
Now, one attackman that is going to move on to Saturday is a player named Mac Dean. I was able to catch up with Mac after the big win for New Canaan. Let's check it out right here.
Thank you very much, Mac. Let's walk through this. Offensive chemistry was huge today after bouncing back after the loss against Darien on Friday. How big was it for you guys to bounce back in a big way?
Yeah, so it was a big game for us. I know we've got a lot of guys that can move the ball and the course, so it's really hard for defenses to stop us. So when we're moving the ball and placing our shots, it's going well.
Now, preparing for a game like this against Fairfield Ludlow, what was the preparation like during practice?
Well, I think we played a good game versus Darien. We just didn't get the bounces, so we didn't change much, just working hard on what we've been doing well and polishing up a little bit.
You guys were undefeated in the faceoffs today. Nick Cravado, what has he meant to the squad this year?
Yeah, Nick Cravado is going to be like our most valuable player in this team. When you have a player like him, you can play comfortable on offense, and the defense is comfortable because they know he's going to get us possessions.
As a captain, a senior captain here, watching the younger guys step up and play good minutes, including your goalie, Carl Mazabris, how happy does that make you feel?
Yeah, it gives me a lot of energy and just excitement for them for next season. Our seniors doing a great job, but our young guys are stepping up, and they have a bright future.
As a leader and a goal scorer, preparing for Saturday, you guys are playing the winner of either Fairfield Prep or Staples. How do you guys prepare for those two teams?
Yeah, they're similar teams, got a lot of offensive firepower, good defenses. I don't think we're going to change much, just keep doing what we're doing and just play well.
Max, thanks for the time. Frank, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kevin.
That's Mac Dean, one of the senior captains of New Canaan Rams this season, also named to first team All-FCX, so congratulations to Mac Dean. Guys, let's take a look now at what we have now in the quarterfinals of the Class L tournament. We had Darien beating Xavier 23-4. That was pretty much expected. They're going to take on Wilton, who beat Farmington 17-3. Your thoughts on this matchup between Darien and Wilton?
I think it's all going to come down to whether or not Darby can contain Connor Drake again. I mean, FEX semifinals did a great job against them, and it's all going to come down to that. Wilton really runs their offense through Connor Drake, the Duke-bound junior, and if Darby can contain him, I feel like Darien will be able to handle the Wilton attack.
And Darby totally did. Darby really kept Connor Drake neutralized when they met in the FCX. I'd be very curious to see how that matchup unfolds.
Now, in the other matchup, on the other side, we have number 3 Hall taking on number 6 Ridgefield. Ridgefield defeated Trumbull 13-6 in the first round. This is a 3-6 matchup. The Ridgefield Tigers in the 6th seed right now going up against number 3 Hall. Do you guys give the Ridgefield Tigers a chance in this game?
I do. I think you could see the FCX schools continue to move on because I think they've established themselves. They've shown that they're just clicking and playing a really good brand of lacrosse right now. Now, in fairness, I haven't seen Hall play, but they've got a lot to do to beat Ridgefield.
Yeah, knowing Greg Gatto, Wes Carpenter, you got some really strong guys heading up the Ridgefield attack. I think might be a little bit too much for Hall to handle.
And I think Ridgefield, I think they would have. They're playing a little motivated now, chip on their shoulder. They would have liked to get to that FCX final. You got to give credit to New Canaan playing a great game in the semifinals against Ridgefield. Of course, Newtown and Glastonbury will play the winner of Ridgefield against Hall. And then you go back up. We're gonna have this game on Saturday at 4 o'clock at Dunning Field. This is New Canaan Rams, number 4 seed, taking on number 12 Fairfield Prep. This is going to be a great matchup on Saturday. A really fun one where two teams that, this goes back a while. These are two, I wouldn't say rivals, but these two teams know each other very well.
These are two teams we talk a lot because we're FCX-centric about the Wilton, New Canaan, Darien triumvirate.
Right.
But Fairfield Prep's always been up there when it comes to lacrosse in Fairfield County and the state of Connecticut. What I want to see is New Canaan coming off a 17-3 win against a prep team that had a knockdown, drag-out dogfight with Staples that had to go into overtime to advance 11-10. Are they fired up coming out of that? Whereas New Canaan mentally, after a one-sided game, do those things factor into that contest Saturday?
I think you definitely have to think about if you're New Canaan, like make sure you don't look ahead to a potential third-time matchup with Darien. But then again, that was
Very good.
Prep and New Canaan also played early in the regular season. Prep coming away with like a 1-goal win, I believe. So I think New Canaan will be motivated to try to avenge that loss earlier in the year.
Now, Josh, before we go to breaks, we have to go to break. We're running out of time here in this block. But in this tournament, who do you have winning if, and let me put it this way, if Darien and New Canaan get to meet each other in the semifinals again, do we see another 1-goal game again?
I think if Carl, New Canaan goalie can stand
Carl
on his head,
Zabras,
just stand on his head just in the FCX championship, especially with Cravado at X. If New Canaan keeps winning possession of the ball the whole game, I think New Canaan definitely has a shot. But I don't know if McGovern and Minikis, especially in the Darien attack, might be too much of a handle for New Canaan.
Josh, I'll tell you what, man, you seem like a natural, so you're welcome back anytime, my man. Nice job.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, we're going to step aside. When we come back, our very own Frank Granito will be joined by two very special guests with a very cool segment that you do not want to miss coming up right here on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. SCAP Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the Jeep Celebration event and Chrysler Pacifica Incredible Sales event. Now through May 31st.
Winter's finally in the rearview mirror, and the Dock Shop is ready to help you usher in our favorite season, summer. We've got new offerings in our usual products: clothing, jewelry, home decor, fishing tackles, and boating supplies. And now the Dock Shop does in-house laser engraving. You can add a name, a boat name, latitude, longitude, an image to drinkware, serving platters, boards, or decorative accessories. No minimum, fast turnaround. Stop in today and start your summer. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866. If you ever
want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. SCAP Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Save thousands right now at the Jeep Celebration event and Chrysler Pacifica Incredible Sales event. Now through May 31st.
On Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, Frank Granito in studio Thursday, May 31st. So happy to be joined by Olivia Ronca and Haley Salvatore, two of our HAN interns who are on the show for the first time, covering a feature piece as part of their internship program. Girls, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. We're happy to have you here. You focused on this year's FCX champion in girls tennis, the Staples Wreckers. Liv, you're a Staples student. You know these girls, and this was 4 years in the making. I mean, what was it about this group that really led for you and Haley to focus on them with your first feature piece?
I mean, I've watched them lose the FCX championship the past 3 years, and the fact that they won this year really just brought them to closer together. And I've watched the past 4 years them just become an even tighter knit group. And so I think me and Haley figured they won this year, it must be a huge deal for them. So we want to see what they thought about it.
Well, it certainly was a huge deal to the girls, to everyone around that program. Haley, we were there on Tuesday before their match against South Windsor, and I was talking with one of their coaches who kept thanking us, saying, oh, we don't get the coverage or the exposure like so many other teams, but we really did deserve it this year. It was your first look at this team on Tuesday, and I mean, what was the impression you got of these girls as they continue on in the postseason now?
I think they have great leadership in all of their captains. I think that's what's really pushed them to do so well, is how their captains take control and push the younger players to do well.
And we caught up with those captains. We're going to see those interviews in just a minute. But, I mean, we got there, and they were probably an hour and a half away from their second state tournament match against South Windsor, which they would go on and win 6-1. But you could still just see the level of comfort around this squad, Liv. They're so loose. They're having fun.
Yep.
You were interviewing the captains. You had the rest of the girls standing right behind there. So, I mean, it just seems like this is a team of destiny now as they are continuing on here in the state tournament as well.
Exactly. I mean, they were all laughing. They were watching each other, encouraging each other while they were on the screen, because you could see the captains were nervous. I mean, as we were. But, I mean, they had their team behind the fence watching them, laughing along with them, and it was great to see.
And Haley, they got a little more revenge as well yesterday. We mentioned they finally took down Darien in the FCAC tournament. Well, yesterday, a gritty 4-3 win against Glastonbury in the semifinals of the state tournament. And well, now, waiting there again, they've got Darien this afternoon for a state championship. So, I mean, you can just get the sense that this team is having to overcome every obstacle, and they continue to get through it like that. Haley caught up with the doubles captains on the teams, Olivia with the singles captains. Let's look back to the interviews from Tuesday afternoon.
Hi, I'm Haley Salvatore here for the HAN Network with Staples girls tennis captains Hannah Bjorkman and Kristen Butler. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to you girls on your win against Darien FCAC.
Thank you.
You guys have been doubles partners all year, so how has your chemistry really helped you to beat Darien in the FCACs and help you into the state tournament?
Well, one of the reasons why I love playing doubles is because I have a partner right next to me, helping and supporting each other along the match. I think like having, especially Kristen as a partner who I'm friends with outside of tennis, really helps because we both know what makes us happy and what gets us fired up. So having her like beside me at every point, it makes it so good.
And how do you think that chemistry will help you in the state tournament?
I think it will really help us because the past couple matches we've been like the first ones off the court, and we've just been kind of plugging and just really want to get the first win for the team. And so I think we just have so much momentum right now, and like we're just so happy playing together. And so I think it'll really just help us moving forward.
Now going into the state tournament, which FCAC team do you hope to see again?
I mean, we'd love to see Darien again, just because they're always the team we look forward to playing against. But we also kind of want to play Glastonbury again because they knocked us out of the state tournament last year, and so we kind of just want a little revenge because they're an amazing team as well as all the other teams that are playing in the state tournament. So we're just really excited to keep moving forward.
And going into the game against South Windsor today, what advice do you have for the rest of your team?
Just leave it all on the court because the state tournament, you get knocked out, and if you lose against the first round, so we just want to make sure that the team knows that you just got to give it your all every day and try your best.
All right, well, good luck and thank you.
All right, well, thank you again to the captains. Girls, great job there. They get ready for the state championship now against Darien this afternoon. Forecast not particularly great, so there could be a little added pressure. But let's start with the doubles captains in Bjorkman and Butler. I mean, Haley, you could see that chemistry between them. How obvious is it to you how well they're playing together now through this season as they continue to dominate in the state tournament as well?
They're playing really well, and I think that has to do with how they're friends both on and off the court. Like, you can tell in between takes of the interview, they're very close, and they feed off of each other, and I think that's what makes them so good, is that when one isn't playing as well, the other one will help them get better, and I think that's just what really helps them.
And you talked before about that leadership role and showing the younger girls how to come along with them. I think they set a great example with that really just up and down mentality. If one is down, the other picks them up, and it's very easy to follow for some of those younger double teams. On the single side, Liv, you've got Alyssa DeMeo, the All-FCAC player. She lost her match in the championship against Darien, and then Olivia Foster, who has just been nothing short of spectacular, coming back from being down 5-1. Seniors, they're going to be playing in their final match for the Staples Wreckers. How do you see them doing against Darien in this championship game?
I think for Olivia Foster, coming off the win of the FCAC championship, she's going to look to hold that spot and look to win again. And I know Darien's going to be looking out for her this time, especially considering she came back from a 5-1 deficit. But I think she'll be able to hold her own, along with Alyssa DeMeo, considering the pressure she'll be under today, considering she lost last time. I think she'll step it up today with a win for Staples.
And the big thing for Staples, in my opinion, too, there's probably a little added pressure in that FCAC championship. Coach Paco Fabian talked about how at the beginning of the year, we didn't talk about regular season titles. We didn't talk about state titles. This team was set on winning an FCAC championship. These girls have won a state championship in their career, so they're going to know what it's like playing in this atmosphere. You've turned me. I'm 100% on the Staples bandwagon, so I'll get behind the Wreckers for today. By this evening, do you see us crowning Staples as a state champion, or are you leaning more towards Darien with a little vengeance on their mind?
I think Darien will come out hard, but I do believe Staples will come out on top.
I would have been bad for you to pick against Staples. We'll be honest about that one. And it's going to be tough for you to pick Darien, too, over there.
Yeah, I have to go with Staples.
Well, girls, really great job. First project under the belt, so good work there. Looking forward to what you've got coming up next. And we'll follow along with Staples this afternoon as well. Yeah. All right. We're going to take a break on Nutmeg Sports. When we get back, John Kovach and Kevin Coleman turn their attention to this afternoon's state quarterfinals in girls lacrosse. 7 of the 8 teams are from the FCAC, and we'll see it next on the HAN Network.
And welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. Kevin Coleman in the studio with John Kovach. We're switching gears now from boys lacrosse to girls lacrosse as their Class L tournament gets underway. John?
You almost said FCAC, and you may as well.
I may as well, because it's 7 out of the 8 teams are remaining in this tournament. Unbelievable stat. The only team non in the FCAC is Cheshire, ranked number 2. They're going to play Fairfield Ward. We have Darien Ludlow, the 1-9 matchup, and then we have a really intriguing matchup here that I think everyone's looking forward to. We have 2 intriguing matchups. We have Wilton versus New Canaan, and at the bottom of the bracket, we have Greenwich versus Ridgefield.
Wilton New Canaan, a rematch of that great FCAC matchup that we saw in the tournament.
Right.
Everybody expected the 1-2, the Darien, New Canaan, the big rivalry in the final. We didn't get that. Is New Canaan determined to make that happen again? Is Wilton determined to show they're the better team again?
Well, here's another question for you. Now you have Greenwich Ridgefield, and speaking to a couple of Tigers on that team who got outs by Greenwich in the FCAC quarterfinals, they're ready to take on Greenwich again. They want to play Greenwich. They're motivated. They have that chip on their shoulder, John.
They could not have been happier when that bracket came out.
Yeah.
They could not have been happier to see that they had that opportunity. Hey, we can get a rematch. Sometimes there's nothing better.
And you know what's funny is, speaking to Caroline Colonel, one of the senior captains on the Ridgefield Tigers, she said, you know what? Yes, we lost in the FCAC quarterfinals, but as soon as that game was over, we were ready for that to see where the seeds landed for us and to see if, okay, we have an opportunity to take on Greenwich in the quarterfinals. Then they went out, they won their first round game against Conard, 18-8. They put up 18 goals.
Like Greenwich took care of business against McMahon 17-5. Yeah. So, I mean, equally lopsided scores. That'd be a fun game.
That's going to be a great game. That game is going to be tonight at 5 o'clock. You look at this Wilton New Canaan game, and you look back, Paisley Egan and Eva Greco were so huge on the FCAC semifinal to get Wilton into that FCAC final, where unfortunately they were on the losing end of it to Darien. But for this Wilton team, this is going to be another great matchup here between Wilton and New Canaan.
Think New Canaan's worked draw control? since that FCX semifinal?
I tell you what, Braden Dial is going to be locked in tonight.
Oh,
After losing to Wilton in that FCX semifinal, you could see there was a little smoke coming out of her ears. She was ready to take on Wilton again, another rematch here for
that team wants that rematch. They really do.
And then now it's intriguing too, because on the boys' side of it, you could get Darien and New Canaan in the state semifinals. Girls bracket you can as well. If New Canaan's able to beat Wilton, they could take on Darien if Darien's able to withhold Fairfield Ludlow.
And let's credit the Fairfield schools. Both Fairfield schools are in the Final 8 of Class L girls lacrosse. Both Fairfield schools have made it very far into this tournament. Testimony to how far the sport is advancing in Fairfield.
And you look across the board, and this, I think and this is a question for you, John, it's 7 out of the 8 teams remaining are FCAC teams. You look across the board, lacrosse in the FCAC is the strongest here in the state of Connecticut, no?
I think there's no argument. I think this erases any argument. You look at this bracket.
And now you look at this bracket, out of these quarterfinal games remaining, you look at Darien Ludlow. Who's your pick in that game?
I think until somebody beats Darien in a big game, I've got to go with Darien.
Now you speak of Fairfield lacrosse. Fairfield Ward will be taking on number 2 Cheshire, the only non-FCAC team remaining. How do you think Ward's going to do up against Cheshire?
It's a long ride. I'm going to go chalk in that one. But Ward's right there. I mean, this is, I think, a game. This is a test game for how good is FCAC girls lacrosse. If Ward pulls off the upset here, and it's an all FCAC semifinals, and you've knocked off the number 2 team, then you can really start to talk about how good the conference is at girls lacrosse.
I tell you what, if there's one player in this tournament, especially for Fairfield Ward, that wants to keep her season going, keep her high school career growing, it's Libby McKenna. The future Villanova Wildcat is determined to get her team into the FCAC semifinals. So I like Ward in this game, pulling off the upset against Cheshire. Greenwich, Richfield, we just spoke about 3 and 6. Does Richfield come in and take care of business? Do they take down Greenwich, or is this Greenwich team ready to move on to the FCAC semifinals?
Can I flip a coin? Can I get back to you? Can I get back to you on that? Because I really don't know that I want to pick that one.
Well, I think it's going to be hard the other way, too. You look at the 4-5 matchup. Who's your pick in that?
Yeah, those 2 games I think are too close to call. I mean, I really do.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun tournament. Right now, I think you look at it, my 2 picks, I have Wilton moving on. They're going to take on Darien. And I have Richfield coming in, beating Greenwich in Greenwich. I think this Tigers team is motivated. They're going to take down Greenwich in this game.
I'll take Greenwich and New Canaan just to be different.
All right.
How's that?
You got a little bet going.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, John, thanks for coming on today.
Sir.
Also, thanks to Josh Evans. Of course, thank you to Frank and the rest of the crew here. Steve, nice job directing. That'll do it for Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. We have coffee break tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. with Kate Chaplinsky. We will have lacrosse on Saturday afternoon at New Canaan as the Rams will take on Fairfield Prep. Good night, everyone.